Ladies and gentlemen, our show will begin in 3, 2, 1. Let's ride.
On deck we have no one, go home. But coming to the stage right now, he is our last comedian of the night. Fun fact about him, he is not only our only other unspectacled comedian, he is also our only married comedian here tonight. He is Cameron Miller!
Sorry to disappoint, but I do have glasses at home and currently am wearing contacts. So, I'm just like everybody else! Also, I'm the last act of the night, which means that this show doesn't end until I stop talking. So, the more you laugh, the quicker this will be. My name is Cameron Miller, and I sleep a lot. And I have this thing where I can sleep just anywhere. And it's a blessing and a curse. I contribute this ability to a couple different reasons. One, I think that there is a chance that if my body is horizontal in any way, I flip a coin, heads, I pass out, tails, I stay awake. There's like a 50% chance that if my body tilts this way, I will just sleep. Two, I think it's genetic. I get this from my grandmother, who once fell asleep during Lord of the Rings, woke up halfway through, and thought that Gandalf was Jesus. I think that's pretty understandable to me. Three, I have this thing called Irlen syndrome. It's like where light affects my eyes, and it's a visual processing disorder, which basically means my brain struggles to process the information that it sees, which can overload itself. So like in a normal brain scan, different like light here. Oh, your brain lit up there. Oh, brain's a little happy. My brain is just a rave. It's just boom, 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 boom. It's like Christmas lights, you know? The whole brain just... It's great. It's not really, but you know. So my brain can like overload itself. So all of this contributes to the fact that I have fallen asleep in some places I shouldn't, and it has led to some really awkward situations. I had just met some guy who became a great friend of mine, but I had just met him at summer camp, and he invited me over. So after that week was done, I went to his place, and we were dead tired, just absolutely exhausted. And we looked at each other and went, "Do you want to do anything?" I was like, "No, I want to sleep." So we decided to take a nap. He went to his bed like a normal person. Where did I choose to sleep? Did I choose the guest bed? No. Did I choose the couch? Why would I ever? Did I choose the coffee table? Oh, I chose the coffee table. But not only that, I slithered myself under the coffee table, rolled myself up into a ball, and went to bed. Half an hour passed, and I hear a knock on the coffee table, just a... What's going on? Hi, I'm your friend's mom. Would you like waffles? I would love some waffles. And that's how I met my friend's mom, under her coffee table. Now, there was a time when I was like 9 years old, and I wanted to go outside and play in the snow. So I got all dressed up and went outside and did what the most natural instinct is for a 9-year-old. I made a big pit in the snow. I made a giant hole. And I was tired, proud of myself. And I decided to lay down. It might have been a bit windy. And by that I mean the snow covered me up and I was gone for 4 hours. I got a really long talking to about how that's very dangerous. But let me tell you, I felt like a baby polar bear. I was sound asleep in that snow pile. I have never... if I could do it again, I would. I might have done that actually. I shouldn't say that. Now, freshman year of high school, I got extremely sick. Like the kind of sick where you go to the doctor multiple times and you're like, "Nothing's working, please help me." Like the gremlin sick where you just kind of walk around like, kind of sick. I went back to my dorm and I just did not feel good. And my body was like, you need to pass out now. So I grabbed every like fluffy thing that I owned, all the blankets, all the pillows, and I shoved them all under my desk and cocooned myself like a wolf in a cave. And I just kind of wrapped myself up, faced the wall, and fell asleep because my desk had walls and there was a heating bar under there. So it was just a nice little pocket. I made myself into a hot pocket. Now I want you to picture this. All right, you're my roommate. All right, I fell asleep for like 6 hours. My roommate came back after 3. He has no idea that I'm in the room. Now, think of it from his perspective. You have been working on homework for 3 hours at this point, solely by lamplight. Out of the corner of your eye, you see something move. You turn, and this abomination emerges under your roommate's head. What do? Do you go for the door? Do you go for the window? Do you fight back? Choose. He chose to scream. I think that's justifiable. Another thing about me, I have worked many different jobs. I've worked in the food industry, I've done service care, I've done a lot. I've also worked as an Amazon delivery driver. I worked for a company who delivered for Amazon, and I actually enjoyed that job quite a bit. They treated me well and paid well. But people are weird. I traveled the cities of Minnesota every day, and I had the weirdest encounters ever. There was a day that I drove up, I got out, and I went to the door, and I put the package down, took a photo, and then I was turned around. Suddenly I'm surrounded by like 5 children. I felt like Chris Pratt, like, whoa, please, what are we doing? And one of them steps forward and looks up at me and just goes, "You ever had any grapes?" Believe it or not, yes. Grapes are amazing, right? They're pretty good. You ever had cotton candy grapes? Are we still talking about grapes? And then he pulled out cotton candy grapes and he's like, "Try them." Like, I feel like I've seen this somewhere in a Disney movie and it doesn't go well. I tried them. That kid wasn't lying. I bought 2 bags of cotton candy grapes that day. They were amazing. I've never had better fruit in my life. Another time, us Amazon drivers, we get to like those houses that we just go to a lot and we're like, "Hey, it's this house again," and we judge you all. This house usually had like 2 to 4 packages, like a normal amount of packages. I got there today, and there were 57 packages for this single house. 57 unique packages. I shoved them all into a bag, and I hauled it all the way up to their door. And then I put them out, next to the door so they could still open their door. But in my notes and description of what they want me to do with their packages, it says, "Please hide under doormat." Okay. Perfect. And then I left, and I did what it told me to. It was great. Now, Amazon, they trained me pretty well. I felt like on my first day, I knew everything that I needed to, but clearly I didn't know everything. There was a day that it started to rain really bad. Just a torrential downpour. And I've dealt with the rain before. You put on a rain jacket, sometimes you wait it out. But then I started hearing the tornado sirens. I was like, I don't know what to do in this situation. They never trained me for natural disasters. So I called my boss. I was like, "What do I do?" And he was like, "Well, you should stay put and just kind of watch out." I was like, "Great! Stay put in my mobile tin can. That has worked for every person who's ever driven a van in any generic tornado movie ever. The van always survives. And I was like, oh, okay. Sounds good. And he's like, well, at least you're not Frederick. I was like, my first thought, is Frederick okay? Is he all right? It's like, yes, Frederick's okay. Frederick saw the tornado. Like, he could see it. So you know what they told him to do? They told him to go to his next stop, knock on the door, and plead to be let in. It's like, you know, he opens the door, here's your batteries, please let me in. I'm just thankful that never happened to me. Now, the best part about being a delivery driver are the doggos, the puppers, the sweet dogs. 95% of all dogs that I met were just lovable little wiggle butts that just were happy that I existed. And it was great. I pulled up to a house, you know, and I looked out my window, and there's already a dog there just waiting for me, and I'm like, oh. And I grabbed the package, I opened the door, and a full-grown German Shepherd jumps into the front seat with me. So I'm holding this dog, I go up to the front door, and I ring the doorbell, and I'm like, here's your package, and here's your dog. Another time, you know, I pulled up to another house, and this one had a longer driveway, and I'm like walking in, and like at the foot of their driveway is just the most round bean of a dog. It was like just a tiny little fat bean. I adore him. And he was just sound asleep. And I like kind of walked by and he like woke up and he was like, oh. And licked his lips, and then he escorted me to their front door, waited for me to put the package down, take a photo, and then he escorted me back to the end of their driveway. And then he looked at me and fell over and went back to sleep. I saluted him, said thank you, and left. Now my favorite story about dogs, though, is the time that I went into the middle of the woods, and then out of nowhere was this just really big house. Just massive yard, looked stellar. And I pull up, I get out. It's like a smaller package, you know, and I set it down, and then I hear the deepest just a woof. And I turn around, and practically at eye level are two Great Danes. I'm like, oh, please be nice. You could eat me. They were very nice. They just, tails flapping, and started, I was petting them. And then I see one, for context, you have to take a photo of the package. This tells Amazon that I've done my job, and it tells the customer that I've done my job, so that if anything happens to that package, they know that I did my part, and I can't be liable for that. I haven't taken the photo yet, and I see this dog in motion to go after this package. And so I confront this dog, and in one fell swoop, I have my life broken before me. I went to grab this dog, and I got double crossed up, and my ankles broken by this dog. I was disgraced. But then the second dog took out my knees, and I fell to the ground. And then the owner opens up the door to see me in my disheveled state, as the phone took a photo of my face. The dogs are long gone. I get up, I look at the guy and go, there's your package. Have a good day. And I've never delivered there again. I'm Cameron Miller. I sleep way too much. Have a good night.
On behalf of Matt, the comedians, and myself, we wish you a good night. Stay safe, friends.